Hey everyone, welcome to Opal Oracle. For those of you who are new, my name's Raaji. It's really nice to meet you. For those of you who have already joined hands on this little journey, welcome back. And this is going to be for Capricorn for mid-September. So, Capricorn, you, here in the center. Devil card. You know, there's a very specific and fortunate and unfortunate aspects to all signs, right? But I've actually been doing a little bit more research because I was really curious. Saturn is coming back into Capricorn once it leaves Sagittarius at the end of the year, and that's really important when a wandering star or planet, as they like to call them in popular culture now, is back in its original sign. You know, Saturn's has a lot of aspects of importance because you're a cardinal sign. I build, right? But Capricorn, in that building, in essence, you make such an example to what it is that you build. What it is that you, what authority it is that you bow to, if you will. Sometimes a Capricorn can be seen as a conformist, like it wants to be part of the pack, but it also wants to be in charge. In work, okay? It's not always work with you guys, but I will say that Capricorn's the kind of person, generally, where the natural tendency is like, I'm working on a goal, I'm building this, I'm building it. Alright, it's finally built, end of story, I'm just going to go, what am I building next? What's next? It's like, check, check, check. You're very technical in the ways of societal check marks, but this is just our foundation, you know, this is just one aspect of Capricorn. And one of the parts that I actually thought of, was thinking about and then actually found out about, is that I had an inkling, because, you know, whatever we're told in life, the foundation of our truth, right, of truth in general, life, ourselves, whatever, there's a bunch of lies in there. You know, there's a bunch of unlearning to do so that we can really get to the root of where it is that, where the discontentment comes from, whether that's in a societal way, like as humanity as a whole, or if this has to do all with Mother Nature and everything, or if it just has to do with ourselves. And actually the goat, which has taken form into this negative Satanist, you know, the darker aspect of higher power, has attached itself, the opposite of that, to and lower, you know, all these things. There's a lot of negative connotations attached to the words that describe what it is that they've chosen for your card. But that's the thing, they all have them. And so what I was going to say was the goat. It actually used to have a tail, like a fishy tail, so that you could maneuver through this sort of world, through these waters within this world, so that you could find the deep, like you could make it to the bottom, you could be able to breathe and actually be within, again, your own emotions, because to some people, Capricorn may be like kind of calculated. Most cardinal signs are very serious in a way, you know. It's not that you don't have a light side by any means, but there's these like really directive, like you are the leader, okay? And I see that there's some reassessment in the person that you are, and what subjugation means to you, how you're trying to gain a deeper understanding about what accomplishment means to you, and the way that relates to your relationships, your personal relationships with people. Because I see, even when you receive what it would be, the stereotypical societal everything whole, you're still pushed to this desire to just not really feel like that gives you the breath of life. You feel bummed out about it. You feel discontented about it. You feel disappointed about it. You feel apathetic about it. And you're like, I don't even feel connected to this person. I don't even feel connected to these people. But I think it has to do with the fact that they've limited you to just this goat. And a goat, although can climb like a 60-degree side of a cliff, just with their little hoof, they're a hooved creature. You know, it doesn't have toes or grabby thing, nothing. It's just hoof. There is a sensitive little area, like energy area inside of that hoof that makes it understand what it needs to do to be able to achieve this goal, to get to the top of this cliff so that it feels safe. That's why it goes, that's why it climbs those mountains. So it can feel safe. It doesn't feel secure at the bottom. It wants to be at the top. And I see here, for those of you who are not in like a top position in your life, whether that would be financially or within your relationships, you feel like you don't have enough. You feel like, well, I'll take my authority elsewhere then. Like, I don't need you, even though you'll stick with it. You'll still stick with it, because whatever a Capricorn builds, they don't want to give up, okay? They like, you've invested yourself, so you're like, all right, well. But there's this Queen of Swords is looking right over at this Ten of Cups, and she's like, what does it mean to you? You have to be honest with yourself. And I actually see you being able to achieve it, honestly. Will it be completely sorted out, and you will no longer curtail any sort of situation in your life so that you can constantly advance and move forward and build new foundations quite easily? Not necessarily. It doesn't really work like that. Like I've said before, it's not like, I use this example earlier, it's like, ding, supper's ready. Like, no, it's not like that. Actually, I'm going to see what they're looking at. Good. Okay. See, again, I see finances. Like, there's a reassessment. Well, there's reassessment in multiple avenues, but I just went to, my mind said finances, said money. But the thing is for you to be able to heal, because money, what does that bring? It brings security, it brings stability, it brings, well, obviously the financial gain, but all the things that money can buy. It also brings status, opportunity. It depends, you know, what we use it for. But I see here you want to expand in your finances. You're trying to figure out, right now you're doing some sort of research. Yes, I think for the majority of you, whether you realize it or not, it's about your research about yourself, about your own foundations within what this Devil card means to you. But it also has to do with your role in ways of it's like you're supposed to be the boss at work. But it's like, well, two things. A, you can't be the boss at work and at the house. You can't be the boss everywhere. The world is not yours, it's everybody's. It's everything's. Okay? Like God or whatever you believe in is boss, but even that, we have free will. Secondly, I see with work and the boss, it's like, say you are a boss at work. You feel like people don't respect you. Well, I guess at work, either way, you feel like people don't necessarily respect the work that you put in, the diligence and the studying and the ability that you have, the structure that you've built within yourself about your own work ethic. And if you're not the boss and you're still at this position, it's like you know that you could be the boss, and that annoys you, and you're about to take your skills and go elsewhere if someone's not willing to look at the situation. But I actually see that for the majority of you, if you, well, I don't know. I can't say for the majority of you. I have to take that back. I did just see that you want to be careful in your finances this month, this time period, this mid-September. Like, hang on to what you have. Don't spend anything frivolously. It will put you in a position to having to reassess something else. Deeper than that, exactly. So the Eight of Swords is here on the table twice. There's something about restriction and solid. You have high expectations, Capricorn. It's like in those cardinal readings, it's like you have a form of perfection that you're desiring, and you can find that within yourself, but you cannot project that onto the world. Like I said, does it matter what Capricorn's doing for the rest of humanity? As an example, whatever you're building, how you're building life, yes. But if you're just building it according to the stereotypical societal standards that are instilled in us since we were children, to what we are supposed to do, what it means to be successful, what it means to be fulfilled, that's bullshit. You don't want to be the sheep if you're the cardinal sign. You're an I am, you know what I mean? Like you're the leader. So if you lead, if you're a sheep leading a bunch of sheep, you're not going to go anywhere but a bunch of circles until you go to the slaughterhouse. But if you're the shepherd, and you give good example to like, hey, this would be a good idea if we went this way with this situation. Let's try to end up at this goal so it helps everybody. It's good for me and it's good for you. So I see an importance also that when you're attending to situations in life, you want to take on that perspective. It's not about like, this is my authority, listen to me, I'm the boss, I build this, that's that. Don't fuck with me because I'm the devil. If you play it like that, people are going to be like, no, you scare me, like I'm not interested. But if you play it in such a way where you're like, this is good for the good, this is for the good of all, that's much different. Okay? It's much different. And you are going to gain a new perspective during this time about what actually makes you discontent. When I heard when I said discontent, I heard the word in my head atop of it, disconnected. And I see that here. I see the disconnect. I see the want to like. You want more color in your life. But you're transitioning right now. You have suspension or the hanged man, the devil, and then the 10 of cups in line. It's like this, and the words that are associated with these are like, really going to help you figure out how it is that you define yourself in your life. I know that sounds heavy for a 2-week process, but sometimes we can just be like, have a dream or something, or an experience, and it just kind of blows your mind to be like, have I been, like, is that the way I do it? Like, could I, or you have that realization again, like, I don't have to approach it this way, I can approach it this way. And if this doesn't work for if these people, this environment is not willing to respect my opinion and all my hard work that I put into it, then Capricorn, you can take your skills and go, and your efforts, and go somewhere else. But you really got to figure out what it is that you're, like, because I see with these personal relationships, it's like you take things so seriously. It's like you find something and you're like, that must be it. That's the one. That came across my path. I'm gonna go with it. This is a new opportunity. I'm gonna take it. But you're transitioning your perspective about expectation and about the parts of situations that you were willing to ignore. Those things in your mind. It's like when you're an earth sign, like that air quality. There's a lot of swords here. Like, there's an importance to pay attention to the elements of air, to thoughts in that way. Aquarius is I think or I know, which are very different things, but maybe you want to ask yourself, like, what do I think about myself? What do I think about work? What do I think about other people and my participation within that? And what do I know about those situations? That'll help you be able to discover and transition through this period so that your life can become more colorful, more excitable, more connective. Okay? I'm wishing you the best, Capricorn. Until next time, see you in October. Peace.